an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all.
Now, for its 20th anniversary, the adventure of a lifetime returns to the big screen in a way you've never seen before.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Hey everybody, welcome to Star Wars Card Talk. I'm Maurice from JEDI Toy Masters, and if you're listening to us on podcast form, thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoy my little show here. And if you could, please be so kind to leave us a nice little review on iTunes, because I think leaving reviews on iTunes is one of the ways that apparently you help the show be discovered by more people. So, I don't know, I guess. And but this is also a video show, so if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe the video, and leave a comment down below. You can ask questions or comments on, you know, whatever is on your mind, Star Wars related, and I will get back to you. So, and check out some of our other videos, because we have other videos on there, not just this show, Star Wars Card Talk, but also JEDI Toy Masters. We have toy unboxings and toy reviews and toy hunts and reaction videos and all kinds of silly stuff that I do with my boys, because we love Star Wars, and yeah, we love Star Wars. So, you know, check it out. Check out some of the other videos. I'm sure you'll like at least one of them. I mean, I'm sure there's at least one video on there that you're going to be like, yeah, that was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. So hopefully you find it and you enjoy it. Again, like and subscribe. And it's getting a little sunny, so I'm going to throw these on. So, you know, this weekend, well, first of all, you know, last week was kind of a tumultuous. It's a little dramatic of a week as far as a Star Wars fan. As you know, last week we talked a little bit about it, but you know, the actual world we live in kind of spilled into the beautiful, fantastical world of Star Wars that we all as fans like to visit and stay in from time to time. But you know what? I'd like to believe that as fans, regardless of how you believe, how you think, you know, what you believe or where you stand on the whole Gina Carano thing, firing, cancel culture thing, I just hope that at the end of the day, as fans, we can just enjoy Star Wars for what it is, and hope, because really Star Wars is a big chunk of it is about hope, and hoping for a better tomorrow, hoping for you know, for peace, for freedom, hoping for the end of you know, an empire or the empire type of things, and you know, just hope. So I hope that we as fans can just continue to enjoy Star Wars, continue to debate the things that we don't like, that we disagree on, in a respectful manner, and but you know, just be able to enjoy being fans, because you know what, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of cool Star Wars stuff coming up, and if there wasn't, we'd have nothing to talk about here, and all the other amazing podcasts and shows and on YouTube and whatnot that talk Star Wars. So let's just keep going. Let's just keep moving forward. So with that being said, this past weekend, February 21st to be exact, was the 24th anniversary of the release date of the Empire Strikes Back Special Edition. And you know, last year, 2020, was basically the 40th anniversary of Empire, and so it's kind of interesting that here we are now, just a few months into the new year, and we are looking at the anniversary of the Special Edition. And I thought it would be kind of cool to talk about it today because, first, The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie. I've not been shy about that. And the special edition, say what you will about it, like it, love it, or hate it, or don't care about it, but it was a pretty big deal when it came out. I think we forget as fans just what a big deal it was. Right before the special editions came out, 95. So the special editions came out in 97. So 95 was when we started seeing Power of the Force 2 line start to spring up. And we started hearing rumors and murmurs. There wasn't really a lot of talk on the internet because there really wasn't a lot on the internet at that point. But there was, like shows like Entertainment Tonight and, all these other, Hollywood shows or whatever. There was Access Hollywood, all that stuff. There was a talk. There was talk that George Lucas was, working on Star Wars again. And if you remember, the THX edition of the original trilogy on VHS, I'll put the box art right here. So if you forgot these, these came out in like the early 90s. I think they came out right before the Power of the Force 2 toys started coming out. I'll put the year right here because I'm going to look it up after. But before each of those films on the tape, there was an interview with Leonard, what was his name? Oh my gosh, Leonard Maltin? I'm gonna, correct me in the comments below. Shoot me a message on Instagram and correct me on that one. Leonard Ball. Anyway, he was the film critic on one of these Hollywood news, entertainment news shows, and he sits down with George Lucas, and before each film, there's a little segment of the interview, and George Lucas talks about how at that point he is currently writing episode 1, 2, and 3, the prequels. And he talks about how it's the story of Anakin Skywalker, and he talks about, and I think he also hints at the fact that he's also, working on new technology and whatnot. And all of that was really how we got the special editions. The cool thing is when you got the special editions on VHS about a year later, each tape of the special editions, these guys right here, which I first bought the standard edition versions, and it was funny because I just remember around that time going to a Nobody Beats the Wiz. I don't know if you guys remember in New York. Here in New York, we had these electronic stores, kind of like Best Buy. They were called Nobody Beats the Wiz. Then they changed it to the Wiz because they got in trouble by saying Nobody Beats the Wiz. But anyway, I remember going there one day with a friend of mine, and they had this is before flat screen TV, so they still had the big picture tube TVs, but there was this super expensive 36-inch widescreen picture tube television. It was rectangular, like the way a flat screen TV is now. It had that 16:9 ratio of the screen. And I just remember, and they had, I think it was Terminator 2, Judgment Day was playing in widescreen off a VHS tape that was a widescreen version. And I just remember being completely what? And the sales guy was telling me, yeah, this is a widescreen TV. This is the way the movie, when you see it in the theater, this is how you see it. And then this is why, before you watch any movie on tape, there's always that little message that says, this movie has been edited and reformatted to fit your screen. And I always wondered about that, and it never occurred to me. I'm such a dummy. And then I was oh my gosh. And then I remember going immediately to Suncoast store at my local mall was a for those of you that don't remember or weren't alive, Suncoast was kind of like a movie store. It was like it was a movie store. Like you literally just walked in there and then, and they had movies for sale and, movie posters and knickknacks and memorabilia and that kind of stuff. And I used to love that store. I honestly wanted to work in that store. Like, I really miss those days. I miss the days of like Blockbuster, having a Blockbuster Video and having like a store, having like a Tower Records that you can go and listen to music and buy the CD of the song you want, or like Suncoast, man. I used to love that store. Oh man, I used to just love going in there, just looking at movies. And they had like, you can buy your VHS, brand new VHS tape of a film, and they even had like protective boxes that you can get for them. And I used to geek out to all that stuff. But I remember going there, and they had just gotten the widescreen edition of Star Wars. And the sales guy, it must have been like a guy in his like early 20s or whatever, probably like in college, working there. I just remember he had like a card, like an 8.5, 11 or 11/17 like sheet of paper that was a scene from A New Hope where when Luke Skywalker shoots hits the target on the Death Star, and you hear when the Death Star explodes, there's that shot of Han Solo and Chewie, and Han says, "Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million." Well, the standard edition of that scene, this card that had this photo image of that shot of that scene, like side by side, the widescreen versus the standard, and he was like kind of like as a salesman, he was just like, "Look, this is the scene that you see on TV when you watch it, but see in the widescreen, you see Han is actually like petting Chewie. You see Chewie in the shot." And watching Star Wars at home forever on TV, I had only watched the standard edition. So to see that you get to see more in the widescreen, and that's why watching the special editions in theater, because for me, watching the special editions in theater, that was the first time I got to see them in widescreen in the theater on the big screen. And that's also how I got my brother into Star Wars. So my younger brother, he's 7 years younger than me. I was 17 when the special editions came out. He was 10, and before that, like we had watched Star Wars. I had kind of tried to get him into watching Star Wars, but like, he was into like he was more into like Power Rangers, and he was we both were into kind of like watching wrestling together. Bret Hart and all that stuff. But Star Wars was like this thing that was coming back, and I just remember the Christmas of '95 into '96, I bought him a bunch of Star Wars figures, Power of the Force 2 figures, and it's something that I always wanted to do. I remember as a kid going to a birthday party of one of my classmates, and this kid, his older brother, like just presented him with like a box, like a brown box that had like some wrapping paper on it. I don't even know if it was fully wrapped, but when he opened this box, like this brown box, square box, plain like a moving box, inside were like a bunch of G.I. Joe figures. Like he had like just bought him like 10 or 20 G.I. Joe figures and just put them in a box, and that was like his gift. And I just remember thinking, like, I didn't have an older brother, so I just remember thinking like, that is so cool, and it's something that I would have loved for it to happen to me. I think that's why as an adult, you love Amazon, because you love like getting those little packages in the mail, and you open that box and it's like, oh man, this is what I wanted, because this is what you ordered. But so that Christmas, I wanted to do that for my brother, Aaron. And so I bought a bunch of Power of the Force 2 figures, put them in a box, and I presented it to him that Christmas. And it was so cool. Like we ripped those figures open, and it was so much fun. So he, at that point, was into Star Wars. We had gotten the THX versions of the movies, and we would watch them over and over again. And then I find out about the special edition. So Fast forward, I bought the widescreen special edition, these guys, at Suncoast. Thank you to that nameless employee at Suncoast for educating me on the difference between standard edition and widescreen and 16:9 aspect ratio and all that stuff. That was my first education into that, and I am forever grateful to him for that. So I was super excited to have the widescreen versions of the Star Wars Special Edition. So before each of those movies on the tape, there's like a little snippet of how they made the special editions. And I think it's like, it's kind of a shame that that's kind of like lost, you know, those only exist on the VHS tape. Like they were never transferred to any of the DVDs or anything like that. I think George Lucas kind of like did away with the idea that these were the special edition, and he just kind of changed it his own. He changed the canon to that these are Star Wars because these are how he always wanted, which is fine, you know, at the time. Like those are your movies and that's what you want to do. But I always thought it was kind of cool that we had the original trilogy and we had the special edition. And I loved that. I think that was great. Like, you know, because when you think about it, if they could have continued that idea even into the toys, like you could always have, well, here's the we have the special, the original figures, and here's the special edition figures, you know. And granted, Power of the Force 2 and that whole line, I mean, they made tons of figures and they made tons of money. So Hasbro, you know, after buying Kenner, they made out with that deal. But flashback now, 1997, January actually is when A New Hope came out in theaters, and oh my goodness, it was so special. Like going, first of all, you know, I couldn't buy tickets online, so it's like my brother and I, like on a Saturday afternoon, like rushed to the theater, and we barely got, you know, good seats. Like we got there late. Well, not late. I mean, we got there during the trailers, and wouldn't you know it, the trailer that we catch as we're sitting down is during the New Hope. They had a trailer for The Empire Strikes Back that was coming out a month later, and then a month after that, in March, was Return of the Jedi. So I always thought it was really cool that they would do that. That they would have that they did these little trailers before each of the movies, like in the theater. Like even though like they were only like a month away, I just always thought that was kind of cool. But so they had, and I think that's my favorite trailer. My favorite trailer is the one that you got to see with A New Hope, because I never saw the one for A New Hope announcing the special edition. Like I finally got to see that trailer like after the fact. Like I think I saw a version of it on TV, and then when I got the tapes, then I saw the actual one that you would have seen in theater, you know, announcing the special editions coming out. So the one that you get to see when you go to see A New Hope was them announcing Empire Strikes Back, and you know, then on March 7th, I think, was Return of the Jedi, and that is such a cool trailer. It's just it's awesome. It's just awesome. I love it. So we went to go see A New Hope, and we were blown away. I mean, for me, it was great, but I was more excited to go back a month later to see The Empire Strikes Back. So February 21st comes. I literally go out. I leave school. I'm in high school. I leave for lunch, race to my local theater, buy the tickets on like a Friday afternoon. I buy the tickets, and then so that I have them, and then Saturday morning, I think it was either Saturday morning or that afternoon or something like that, I raced with my brother to the theater, and we saw The Empire Strikes Back, and it did not disappoint. It was so cool, so exciting. And we got to see the trailer for Return of the Jedi that was coming out the following month on March 7th, I believe. Man, it was such a cool experience. And it really solidified it solidified my brother's love of Star Wars. And it solidified that love that we share together for Star Wars, which we still share to this day. I mean, after that, we wanted everything Star Wars. I mean, my brother that summer, we took him to the library and he started checking out books from the expanded universe. And we continued to, whenever I got any type of money from allowance or part-time jobs, I would go and, buy toys. We'd go to Toys R Us almost on a weekly basis just to look at that wall on that aisle of all the Power of the Force 2 stuff. And man, it was a magical time. It was a little piece of heaven. It was a little sliver of what it must have been like in the late 70s and early 80s when Star Wars, the Kenner Star Wars, was on pegs in stores. This was kind of like being able to relive that in a way. And I got to relive that with my brother, and I don't take it for granted, and it's something that I cherish to this day. Wow, it is really sunny out today. But I just wanted to share my little story, my little slice of experiencing Empire Strikes Back Special Edition. I'm not going to go through the whole idea, all the things that they changed and all that, because it's been, they've changed things so many times in these movies. But seeing Empire Strikes Back like that on the big screen, and it was like remastered, and the sound and the image quality was so amazing. It was on film, man, it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Something that I'll never forget. That winter, beginning of 1997, January, February, March, was a special time. And here we are in February of 2021, and I just have these fond memories thinking back to that. And not to get sentimental, but I have 3 sons now, and the idea that I am now sharing Star Wars with them the way I got to share it with my younger brother, who now he has kids of his own, and he shares Star Wars with them. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's this beautiful thing that, we get to enjoy, this love that we have for this galaxy far, far away. Man, I wore out my VHS tapes of Star Wars, watching them over and over again. I was like paranoid with the DVDs, man. I was like, oh man, I can't get these scratched. I gotta take care of them. Sometimes I would not watch them because I was always afraid, like, man, if they get scratched and they don't work anymore, oh man, these DVDs or whatever. Now it's like, I could watch Star Wars in high quality on my phone. I can just stream them to my phone and watch them anytime I want. Like, it's amazing the time that we live in, that we can just indulge in Star Wars anytime we want. And we don't have to watch the Star Wars that we don't like. If you don't like the prequels, don't watch the prequels. If you don't like the sequels, don't watch the sequels. If you didn't like Mandalorian, I don't know how to help you with that, but you don't have to watch The Mandalorian. You could just enjoy the Star Wars that you love. And I think that's awesome. So Empire Strikes Back is my love of Star Wars. That's where it started. And the special edition on the big screen for me was just like renewing of those vows of loving The Empire Strikes Back and loving Star Wars. So which original trilogy film is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know, what did you think of the special editions? I loved them. I think they were great. I mean, the additions and subtractions of them, I think were, yes, maybe, Luke falling and going, that was kind of cheesy and, whatever. But, then they took it out. Then, so it's, I just think just the idea of seeing them on the big screen was great. And I really wished that they would have re-released the original trilogy when they created the 4K transfers of them. Like, just do 4K transfers and like put them on the big screen, man. Like, I would love to see them, because like theaters that show them, it tends to be, the Blu-ray version, that they're just playing on a projector on the big screen. It looks great, but it's not super great. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And as always, you can catch me on Instagram at Jedi Toy Masters. You can watch this video and all the other videos of Star Wars Card Talk at Star Wars Card Talk. Write us a nice review on iTunes and like and subscribe here on YouTube. So special editions, special times, you know, love Star Wars. So that's it for now, guys. And remember,
the Force will be with you always.